Hey, Joe Cummings, Missoula River Lodge. Just got off the road, got in late last night from the Missouri, had 2 days fishing over there. Was not guiding, was a teaching session with one of our new guides who has plenty of experience, just hasn't fished all the water that we fish here. So it was a lot of theory. It's really kind of nice, actually, talking about being on a river and blind reading it. When you get to a certain age, you go to a spot and you fish it and you catch your fish, you move to the next spot and fish it. But if you haven't done those things, then you got to break down the why. Why is this spot a spot? Why is that spot that maybe looks the same or maybe looks better not a spot? Current, boatmanship, how you attack a river that you haven't seen a lot of from an angling standpoint. And there were definitely some technical things about it. There were moments when I had a rig dialed in and we caught fish, and there were moments when I didn't have a rig dialed in, and then why is that rig not dialed in? Add leader, shorten leader, different water columns, and why is a spot a spot? Why does one spot that looks great not produce for one reason, and another spot that maybe doesn't look as good but has these other factors in it that fish like to be there, and then how to catch them? So there's a lot of theory, which I really enjoyed. Josh didn't need a lot of theory. He's got plenty of experience. Really excited about having him on staff. But some of the questions that come up, certainly on that river, where the top end read on the surface is really, it can be confusing on that river because you look down at this flow and it's just a big lake, or it looks like a big lake, and it's all the subtle troughs, subtle flats that make it go, versus a seam somewhere like the Bitterroot that would be important is not as important on that river. And that river's changed quite a bit. It was really hammered home to me. We put in at the dam on the first day. We were working, so when we weren't working. I shouldn't say working. We were teaching, but we weren't working. We weren't guiding with a client that needs to catch fish. And when I'm out on the water like that, I don't cut anybody off. I don't get in the recycles. Stay out of everybody's way. I try to really respect the guys that are trying to make a living on the river. It would have been nicer to get in there and teach some of the upper slots, but we ended up kind of going through it, just floating through, and very busy. That wasn't the case 15 years ago on that river. It's changed a lot, and the proximity that boats allow to get on close to one another, that's a relatively new thing for a guy my age, that there's such close quarters between the boats in there, but that's the accepted culture over there now. So no big deal. We stayed out of the way, caught some fish, taught and talked. That was the upper river. But the funny thing was I went back up to the dam at 6 o'clock because I thought, well, I didn't really get to teach that dam to Wolf Creek water as well as I wanted to. Man, there were still boats there at 6 o'clock, parked. There were 2 boats sitting at the ramp. They saw us pull in. They grabbed all their rods. They ran to their boats, jumped in the river to get ahead of us. It was just a little bit more competitive up there. Fishing was great. I don't like that part of it. I kind of like to be by myself when I fish. So the next day we did the lower river, and it wasn't as consistent of fishing, but we caught fish. Really only a handful of boats that we didn't even really see. Much better experience from a solitude standpoint. Are you going to catch a lot more fish at the dam, standing in line, going through the recycles? Most likely. Yeah, it's very consistent at the top of that river. Very consistent. You get lower, still a good experience. But man, it's just funny. That used to be a really quiet river, in the 90s and 2000s, where it wasn't such a busy place. And then over the years, as that population jumped up so high, a lot of guys from out of area showed up, and there was a lot of growth within Craig. And I'm out of area to a certain degree. We're 2 hours away, but kind of the state focuses on that because the fishing is so good, and the fishing is that good. I mean, the fish are big, they're consistent. Just a little change in terms of, when I started guiding. Josh has been a guide, but it's his first year here. It was a different animal then, and it's not the same beast. That river particularly, not so much at home, but that river particularly has just become incredibly popular. And also the fish population's gone from 2,000 fish per mile in the early days when I started to 4,000, 5,000 now. So change in that river. Really interesting 2 days. We had some weather come in. Would be very happy to take any of our guests over there. I thought the fishing was very consistent, both upper and lower river. I don't love the boats. Probably doesn't bother anybody except me. So that is what it is. But you know, a lot of big fish get caught, and a lot of big fish are around to be caught. So we're still blown out here. We are I'm still thinking that early June time frame at this point. We've got some weather come through today. The hydro forecast changed a little bit. So we were hoping for peak today. It maybe push off a little bit. We'll know a lot more in the next 10 days or so, but it'll be the Missouri for the time being. We're waiting for that Rock Creek to get to 3,400 at the mouth, and that really will give us an idea of where we're going to be in terms of where the dry flies start. So yeah, fishing was good. Really enjoyed my time teaching. Josh was great. Looking forward to having him on staff this summer. And we're going to be on the Missouri, and maybe around a bunch of boats, maybe not around a bunch of boats. Kind of depends on the day. But great quality experience. Had a nice trip. See you on the Missouri for the time being, and I'll keep you updated on the water. Joe Cummings, Missoula River Lodge.